So here's the thing. Steel Vengeance is a tremendous roller coaster. A lot of people say it's the best one. I don't think I'm in a position to say that's true or not, what with not having been all over the world to test that theory, but based on my experience with the thing, I don't really doubt it. At the very least, it's gotta be pretty high up there. The point is, it's an incredible ride, and certainly a better one than the coaster we're going to be talking about in this video today, Storm Chaser at Kentucky Kingdom. That being said, when I was there a month or two ago, I had ridden Steel Vengeance on that Monday and Storm Chaser the following Wednesday, and it's such a good ride that I definitely wasn't thinking about how much better Steel Vengeance is while I was riding it. Storm Chaser feels like a dream, and I don't mean it's dreamy. I mean that literally, like,
oh wow, I just had the weirdest dream.
You know you're driving, right?
There was this coaster, it was like the same kind of ride as Steel Vengeance, but it was in front of a Pepsi distribution center for some reason, and it looked like no one had mowed the grass in a really long time, and the paint was chipping off of it, but it was really awesome, and there wasn't a line, so I just kept lapping it over and over. KI Coaster Guy here, and today we're going to be reviewing Storm Chaser at Kentucky Kingdom. So first off, let's explain that little piece of clickbait in the title. Of course, as I mentioned, Steel Vengeance is the superior ride to this one. But the thing about it is, Cedar Point is such a hassle now, and especially trying to get a ride on their premier attraction is a grueling process akin to TSA security or the BMV that involves standing in line from 2 to 4 hours, maybe 90 minutes if you're lucky, in a queue under the structure that feels a little bit like a holding area for convicts. Storm Chaser, on the other hand, had almost no line at all while I was at the park during the week, and according to people I've talked to that regularly visit Kentucky Kingdom, this isn't an uncommon scenario for this coaster. Unfortunately, when I was there, it was only running one train. You could see them working on the other one in the opposite side of the station, so I don't know if that happens often, but it wasn't really a problem for us that day in any case. Storm Chaser is all the way in the back of the park, and it just felt super weird seeing an RMC sitting there with like no one paying attention to it. So while Steel Vengeance is better as a value for time proposition, yeah, Storm Chaser provides the superior experience. You're not getting everything a ride like Steel Vengeance has to offer, but don't underestimate the amount of RMC goodness this coaster packs in. So let's talk about the actual ride. Storm Chaser is an RMC iBox conversion of what used to be the Twisted Twins dueling coaster at this park that opened in 2016 and was the runner-up for Best New Ride from the Golden Ticket Awards that year, coming in just behind Lightning Rod at Dollywood. And it isn't hard to see why. Storm Chaser features great inversions and some amazing airtime moments. Like a lot of RMC coasters, I'd consider this thing pretty aggressive in the way it tosses you around. At one point, I actually banged my elbow pretty hard on the side of the train during one of the ride's more aggressive moments, and that hurt for a few days. More on that part of the ride later, but I still came back for more rides anyway, because this thing is awesome. So on to the ride experience. After boarding and leaving the station, you'll turn right and into one of those loud RMC chain lifts, and up into Storm Chaser's 100-foot-tall lift hill, at the top of which you bank to the left and into what RMC calls a barrel roll down drop. This is the first coaster in the US to feature a drop like this. Twisted Timbers, which opened a couple years later at King's Dominion, also has one. And if you've never experienced one of these, it's an awesome drop. Definitely one of my favorites. You get some really great hang time out of this. After the drop, you go into this pretty big airtime hill, the first of many great airtime moments on this coaster, and this is followed immediately by a 140-degree stall, another fantastic element. You level out and enter what they were calling an off-axis airtime hill at the time. I'm not sure if that's still the official name for this type of element, but it's a hill with an outer bank at the top, and you get that sideways airtime off of it. That's always a lot of fun. You're then going to bank left and go into what they called a twisted airtime hill, followed by an overbanked dive, another standard airtime hill, and then into Storm Chaser's second inversion, a corkscrew, or what they have listed as a corked roll. This is a fantastic inversion, which is followed by a trick track double up into a double down, and this is the one part of the ride that I don't only have positive things to say about. Similarly to the bunny hills at the end of Lightning Run, I found this part of Storm Chaser to be pretty uncomfortable on some of my rides. I think this is mostly due to RMC's restraint system, which tends to ratchet down pretty hard during moments like these on their coasters. Don't get me wrong, these aren't bad elements, but because of the ratcheting, I felt the need to bring my arms down and hold the restraints up, which is just really distracting. I understand the restraints have to be a certain way because of what these coasters do, but if there's one thing I'd really like to see RMC improve upon, it would be their lap bars. If they could at least just stop the restraints from uncomfortably stapling you mid-ride, I'd be a happy man. I've had the same problem during parts of Steel Vengeance, and I know I'm not alone. Either way, these rides are so good that I'm more than willing to put up with it, and this definitely did not stop me from wanting to lap Storm Chaser over and over. But it did take away from the experience for me a little bit. Anyway, after the double down, you go into a helix and then hit the brakes, completing the ride experience. Storm Chaser is a fantastic roller coaster, and while it has received high praise, I still think it probably doesn't get talked about enough. In my opinion, this is the best coaster at Kentucky Kingdom, which is saying a lot because this park also contains Lightning Run, another phenomenal ride. My only criticism, aside from the discomfort of the final couple of elements, would be that Storm Chaser's Plaza could really use some love. The whole area around this coaster really looked slightly overgrown and just like it could use some attention. While we're at it, the track could use a touch-up paint-wise, but none of that has anything to do with the ride, and it's really not that important, at least to me. If you haven't been to this park to ride this, I highly recommend you go and check it out. Now that it's a Herschend park, I imagine it is only going to get better and busier there over time. By the way, I also have a full review of Kentucky Kingdom, which should be popping up on your screen if you want to check that out. And if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and enabling notifications so you don't miss anything. And as always, a like rating is very much appreciated and is the most helpful thing you can do to support this channel. Anyway, folks, that all clear means I'm up, and out of here. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.